All right, guys, welcome in to Will and Nick Save the World for episode 11.
That's right. We back. We have crossed the threshold of double digits. We're now, it's almost like a new grouping to me.
We're one past double digits.
Exactly.
Well, the official double digits mark. Yeah.
Well, we did 10.
Yeah,
I feel like this is our next grouping of 10. And here we are. We're ready to roll. And I think we've got an exciting story or two for you guys today.
We do, and it's going to be quite the entertaining adventure, I would say. So, and there's a lot we're going to get into, as always. You know, there's a lot of life things, personal things, everything in between.
And
And as always, follow us on everywhere that you'd find a podcast, mostly Apple podcasts and then Spotify.
Please.
And then YouTube, of course, always Will and Nick Save the World on any sort of social media avenue. But please find us on those, and please let us know in the comments what you think about this episode and every other episode, and us in general if you want.
Yeah, anything you want to comment, please do. And, drop a thumbs up maybe if you enjoy. Drop a subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just click around. You know what I mean? Don't just watch. Click some things.
Engage.
Yeah, engage.
Engage. Don't just watch. Engage.
Yeah, there
it's
you
kind
go.
of like, you ever see Legally Blonde?
Nah.
Dude, the bend and snap.
Oh, yeah.
The bend
Okay,
and
I see
snap.
it.
That's what I'm saying. Don't just click. You also engage.
Yeah.
You don't just bend. You also snap.
Imagine if you just stayed bent all day.
That would be really painful. So, yeah. I hope really someone out there gets that Legally Blonde reference.
Oh,
the
I'm
fact
sure
that you
people
picked
will.
it up, even though, have you seen the movie?
I think so.
Well, if you know bend and snap, you
I've
probably
definitely seen
have.
Bend and Snap. Dude, here's the thing.
Okay.
Because I've watched so few movies, like they also just like dissipate out of my brain really quickly.
Okay.
So like I need to get like the reference is perfect.
Yeah.
I know references and I probably know like famous lines, maybe more than I actually know or remember a movie. But
Yeah.
chances are I have seen it. I've just completely like washed away all memory.
Gotcha. And like you said, since you don't watch many movies, why would you? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not something you really, You don't watch a ton of movies, so why would you really remember all of it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but anyway, okay. So now that we're past the Legally Blonde reference, like I said, we do have a lot to go into in this episode, but we're going to start with a funny story that affected me today.
Yeah.
And I briefed Nick a little bit about this per usual,
Yep,
maybe not
yep.
too much, but so I went to an event today. If you guys don't know this about me, I'm in a charity organization called the 501st Legion. And basically it is a group of Star Wars nerds like myself that dress up in movie accurate costumes. It's very, to get approved, you have to go through an approval process. Everything has to be screen accurate. It has to look legit. Doesn't look legit, you ain't getting in. So, and it's all approved and so forth. So we had an event today it was a parade actually in Annapolis, Maryland. It was 5,000 people there.
That's a lot of people.
It was a lot of people. And the Vadies were there.
Tons of 80s, I can only imagine.
Because trust me. But before we get to that, let's talk about something more important here. And that thing is more important is everyone poops.
Everybody poops. Well, hold on. At least guys.
Girls do too.
Hold on. What?
Wait, I think they do. Do they?
Can we don't have a girl here to confirm.
We have to Google this because
Okay,
we're
yeah.
really not positive about this at all.
At least we know guys poop. Us guys, we poop.
Yes, we do, but the women, they're entirely different. They have a different, I don't know, digestive system. I don't know how that works. I really don't know. So we're gonna have to confirm that. If you know for sure and you are a woman, please comment and let us know.
Everybody's in the comments like, yeah, I poop.
Okay. So the funny thing with this story, and for me, I don't mind laughing at myself about this. So like, when I'm going to an event like this or anything like that, where it's going to be a kind of a long day, I get a little bit nervous because it's me stepping outside my comfort zone. Right?
Sure.
It's a fun event in a costume, but before that, I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit running behind the time where I need to be to get to the event to change because it takes a while to get into these costumes. So they want us there early, so I'm running a little bit behind. And I'm like, before I get there, I'm like, man, I think I really got to go. Right?
He got
so
to.
I got to go. Right? I feel it. I actually had to go both. So I had to go both. So I was like, okay, well, I really got to stop then. And then I doubly got to stop. So I went around. I was like, okay, well, I'll kind of go out of my way. I was close. I was like 7 minutes from the venue, right? From the parking lot.
Yeah.
Change. So like I went to this one gas station and I went in. I was like, okay, cool. I'm at this gas station. I went in, bathroom employees only. I was like, well, can't go in there, I guess. I have considered offering the guy to buy something and then see if I could go in, but I was just like, forget it, I'll go somewhere else. Rode past a Taco Bell, said, it's too far away. Rode to a Wawa. If you guys know what a Wawa is, it's a gas station, usually pretty nice.
Yeah.
No bathroom.
Which is crazy because Wawas are really popular. Like we live in Maryland, we've talked about it before, and just I think in this these few states that we're around is where you find Wawas.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're typically nice. And I've literally never been to one that didn't have a bathroom.
This is the only one in my life that I've been to one that did not have a bathroom.
It's crazy.
By the way, when I was in Florida, they did have them in Florida too.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Hey, shout out Wawa.
Yeah, shout out Wawa.
Going
Could be a sponsor.
worldwide? Countrywide.
Yeah, countrywide at least.
Coastwise.
But either way, so and even in the meantime, before I was on my way to the Wawa, there was another gas station. I was like, all right, let's stop at this one. They had gas pumps. Gas station was closed. So I was like, oh, God. So I was like, okay. So I'd rode to that Wawa. And then I was already running late. And I was like, man, now I've gone 15 minutes out of my way trying to go to every spot. And I could not go. So I was like, oh my God. So then I rode back to the Taco Bell and finally went there. I showed up at the event though, got there, had plenty of time. I was late, but we still had plenty of time.
I didn't ask you this. Did they have bathrooms at the event?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a parade. So you would think maybe there'd be some porta potties or something. But
Yeah.
no, there weren't any.
And like I know that you said that you had to get dressed once you got there. So I was like, well, if they have like a changing room area, maybe they had a restroom as
Right.
well.
Dude, we changed in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
sometimes
because
what you got to do.
it was like normally every event I've been to besides this one has always provided us a changing room.
Yeah.
Because they want us there. But like for this parade, there's so many people that would be impossible to give everyone a changing room. So like
Yeah.
it's a parking lot change. So, but either way, I got there. I was ready to roll after that. I was refreshed and I was ready to roll. But it's one of those stories where sometimes you just got to go, and then you can't. Because I mean, if I'm gonna be in the Vader costume all day. If you have to go to the bathroom, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, nah.
Because you're sweating, you're hot. Like you got to get everything out of your system before you jump into a costume like that.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to prepare, and you've done it before, right?
This is my first time as Vader.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's first time
I
as
know
Vader.
you've worn the costume before, but
Yes.
this is the first time at like an official event.
First troop as Vader. I've done many as Kylo and several as Revan, but
Okay.
but this is my first Vader
But,
for
I
the
mean,
Vadies.
but you have an idea, like you already knew ahead of time, like you were just
Yeah,
saying,
right.
like I need to make sure that I'm ready to be, locked down for a
Right.
couple hours because there's no
Right.
stepping out of this.
Right, exactly. There's no stepping out of it. There's no pee breaks. Like even if it's just you have to pee, right? You got to get that out beforehand because you're going to be in the dude. I was in the costume for 4 hours.
The only thing that I can imagine comparing this to right now is whenever I see like a girl in like a romper, and I'm like, man, if you need to use the bathroom, you got to take the whole thing off, right?
Wait, what's a romper?
Oh man, okay.
I have
so-
no idea what that is.
Dude, rompers are like it's kind of like a dress, but it's like a top and like shorts all together. But I think you like
Oh.
unzip the back and step through, and then you kind of pull over the straps. I'm having
Oh.
a terrible time trying to explain.
So
Do you
like,
know
how
what
would
I'm
you go
saying?
to the bathroom then?
I think you got to take the whole thing off.
Do you?
I was
All right,
assume.
we
I've
need the
never worn
women
a
of this
romper.
podcast to verify the pooping thing and then the romper.
How have we already like so short into the podcast stumbled into so many like women problems that like
That we have
can't
no
answer for
clue
ourselves?
about.
Yeah.
We need a woman guest on this podcast.
Yeah, that would be good.
We need to bring someone.
Hey, maybe
on.
guests coming soon, guys.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we're hoping to do that.
Yeah,
anyway,
we
but-
are.
Yeah,
Just,
so-
just tease it a little.
Yeah,
Just,
tease a little bit. Yeah,
tease
just a little, just a little tease.
Dude, well,
Yeah, so anyway.
about the changing thing. So that reminded me. I played baseball in college.
Yeah.
And typically when we'd go, like we'd have long, like a couple hour bus rides wherever we'd be going, and we would just wear like shorts, t-shirt, whatever on the bus. And then usually they'd have like a locker room for us to change into like our uniforms and stuff like that. Same thing like when we were at our home field, right? Like
Yeah.
we'd go to our locker room, we change, put on our uniforms, go, so on and so forth, right? Well, this one school that we played at, they didn't have locker rooms for us. So literally, I don't know how some of the upperclassmen weren't anticipating this, or maybe it had changed from the year prior. But bro, we were just literally not even in the parking lot, just on the side of the baseball field. Some of us not butt naked, you know what I mean? Like you change your pants and then you change your top, you know what I mean? Plus it was cold outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like that was, I guess nobody was anticipating that. It was the first time I'd been there, so I had no idea.
Right.
But I remember being like literally like in between this parking lot and this ball field, like
Right.
stripping down to like nothing.
Yeah.
Like trying to put my sliders on and my pants and
my
everything like
God.
that. So at least like you were telling me, you could wear your regular clothes underneath and
Right.
you just had to put everything on.
Right.
Because yeah, that would be tragic, especially if you pull up expecting to have some sort of changing room and
Right.
there's nothing. Like,
Right.
oof.
Right. And I knew ahead of time, but dude, that's a wilder story than mine.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't that bad. I will say, we're already on our first tangent, but like, when I was in like school, like changing in front of people and everything like that, like we had to do it like all the time. So it's like, I wasn't like uncomfortable doing it, but it is different. Like just being out in the middle of like a field, you know what I'm saying? And there's like other people around. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess this is what we're going to do.
Right.
It's not like it was just me though.
Right.
So imagine you're just at the park, just like a random like hangout park and somebody's just stripping down.
That's probably a crime.
Yeah, exactly.
You're probably going to jail for that.
Oh, shit.
Are you so okay, so there's so many questions, Dave. Were you the trendsetter? Did you start it?
Oh, nah. I think everybody just got there and we just kind of knew like, well, there's no locker room, so this is what we're gonna have
So
to do.
it was just like an unspoken thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody. It's not like we weren't gonna put on our uniforms and stuff like that.
Right. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
and then like we would change. Typically, when we'd go, like we would just have like riding clothes because sometimes literally it'd be like 3 hours away. You're not gonna sit in your uniform the whole damn time. So like you would change into like sliders would be your undergarment, and then after the game's over, you put back on like your boxers and your shorts and stuff like that. So you're not sitting in your own filth the whole time. So it's like, damn. I mean, I could just wear my boxers and put my sliders on over top or something like that, but then like I'm gonna be like sweaty and nasty the whole like 3 hours home. So like, nah, I'm gonna just get naked in this parking lot real quick.
So yeah, that's an amazing first topic we just went into there because that, and I mean, this ties into what we talked about. Always be willing to laugh at yourself. Right?
Oh yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's just a funny thing to talk about because we don't mean to gross anyone out with this, but it's always funny to laugh at yourself and be like, this is kind of funny.
I hope it's not that gross.
No, I don't think so. It's just one of those things where I always get nervous before I do something big like that. So I usually, like, even before I played sports, I usually had to go before I played sports just to feel like I'm, ready to roll. Like,
dude, yeah, definitely. And it's almost like impossible. Like you really can't, depending on the sport, run to use the bathroom in the little.
No, that's what I'm saying. You got to be ready to roll. Yeah.
If you got to get out of your system, do it ahead of time. I will say, like, I guess in my past experience, like I feel that way too. Especially if it's like a big game, a big event. You just kind of like your stomach gets a little uneasy, and sometimes that's what it results in.
Right. Exactly.
But typically, like when I've gotten into games, I don't even think about it at that point. It's like I'm locked in. I'm here now. Let's go.
Supposedly it's fight or flight. Did you know that? It's fight or flight.
Really?
You're because you're so nervous about it. Your fight or flight kicks in, and your body's first reaction is to dump all the excess stuff you have going on.
That
so
makes
that's
sense.
why you usually have to go. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that makes perfect sense
Not
to
sure
me.
the scientific nature of that. So we need a scientist in the comments to verify this. We need 2 women and 1 scientist, and then we'll know the answers to those questions.
Have you seen the meme with Bernie Sanders where he's like, I am once again asking for your financial support? Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
So there's like a video clip that's going around right now, and people are memeing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And so like one of them would be like, a kid at college right now, like, kid at college talking to his parents. I am once again asking for your financial support. That type of deal. But it's like, we are once again asking for your like lady or scientist support.
There you go.
In the comments.
We need our
all of
own
it.
meme.
Yeah, exactly.
We need our own meme. But for real, so to summarize the event, so this was a St. Patrick's Day parade, right? That I was at the 501st thing
true.
as the Darth Vader for the babies.
Yep.
Right. So there was 5,000 people there, and like, so I was telling Nick a little bit about this beforehand. So like, it's a parade, so it's moving, right?
Yeah.
There's a float, and there's like 60 different floats and people with each one. There's bands, and like, so you got to stay with your group, right?
Yeah.
But we had a pretty big group, and we can post a photo showing our group here.
Oh my God. I wanted to do it. It just didn't come out. Boop. Okay, there we
That's
go.
puberty for you right there.
Yeah, sorry guys.
That's 100% puberty right there.
Oh man. Watch, I have a a growth spurt. I'm taller than you.
I know,
next
you'll be
episode.
like 6'6" this episode. No, I mean, sometimes your voice just cracks.
Oh shit, yeah,
Yeah, sometimes you miss the layup. I mean, it's just I set you up for it. I gave you the perfect alley-oop.
I knew it was coming. I just couldn't.
So either way, so the photo you saw is still there. So, but yeah, so like either way, this troop, we have a bunch of us, right? And we're following this float we have. But so like Darth Vader is such a popular character that I got stopped by so many people. And I told Nick, I can't see that well. So I definitely can't look down. So if you're a little kid and you're like, 3 feet tall, I can't see you. So like, unless I'm far away from you, but if I'm close like we are right now, I can't see them. So like they'll walk right in front of me, but I got stopped by so many people that I felt like 5 groups behind mine. And I could see them like 500 feet away. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to catch him. So I started just not running, but like, power walking, right? Basically as Vader booking him. And people kept stopping me. And they were like, they needed photos. So I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I love doing the photos, but I'm like, I'm never going to catch up with my group now.
Yeah.
So eventually they had to send a rep, I think from the parade, to come back to get me. because to like escort me.
Yeah.
Because like she had to like stop people. It was like, no, he can't take photos because he's got to catch up with his group. So like they had to come send back someone back to get me because I couldn't get away because like there's so many people stopping to take photos with me, which I loved. I loved doing that, but I did need to catch up with my group. So I was trying to like do both. I was trying to do pictures real quick, but people didn't have their phones out, and then I do that, and then someone else would come up. And if I stop once, then 5 more families would come up. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I have to keep rolling, or otherwise, and the lady had to stop, and people were like, no, he's got to go. So like, but it was one of those. It was still a blast to do. I'm really sore. So if you've never been in a costume like that, it's very exhausting. Yeah. So I'm not sure how the characters do it in the movies, because I don't know if I was Darth Vader why I would wear that costume all day, because it's, dude, my left shoulder. I have scoliosis. Did you know that?
I don't think so.
I have scoliosis, so my left shoulder is higher than my right shoulder.
Interesting.
So like my left shoulder usually gets in pain when I get in costume for a long period of time. So like I have to like stretch it out a lot after the event. So if there's any footage of me at the event doing things with my shoulder, that's why. So like sometimes you'll see me just kind of stretching, like lifting my arm up and down. Vader, you can only lift your arm like this high though. If
you were doing that though, you should have done it like this.
Yeah. Like the air So I was like, as Vader, I was like stretching on things because my shoulder was just killing me, man. It's like so painful to be in that costume for 4 hours. So if you're walking and moving, it's not so bad. But otherwise, it's not the greatest.
Hey, I'm confused. Well, hold on. Let me ask this because I thought of it earlier and I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
So the 501st is like specifically a Star Wars thing.
Yes.
So does the number 501 have like relevance to Star Wars? Like how'd they come up with that?
Yeah, it's a 501st Legion. Is something to do with the Emperor. Like he had a 501st garrison of troopers.
Interesting.
So it's like from that.
Okay.
And I'm ashamed that I don't know the exact reason for that, but that's what it is.
I got you.
Like the Emperor had a 501st garrison of troops that protected him, and they're called the 501st because of that. So basically the 501st is all villains.
Oh.
So like there are other groups you could be to troop with the 501st, but it's not 501st. Like you could be Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan or whatever, but the 501st is all villains. Like it's Darth Vader and Kylo and Darth Maul and stuff like that.
So how your Vader got approved through 501st, if you had a Luke Skywalker costume, you wouldn't go through
That's
them.
Rebel Legion, I believe.
Oh, that's interesting.
So like you can still troop with 501st though. A lot of times for those events, they'll be like Rebel Legion or Mercs or whatever. There's some other ones that are welcome too. So like they're just with us. So like, but it's like the same thing, but they're just.
That's interesting. And then like hearing you talk about like people wanting photos, and I can only imagine.
Dude, it's a blast.
If you stop, and if you stop for a photo for one person, you can't say no to the next person.
I'd never say no to anybody. Yep.
But like, I would think that they would have set it up in a way where they would anticipate people wanting more photos and stuff like that. Maybe like,
but
I'm
it's
confused.
just a parade. It's just moving, man.
Yeah,
it's
so
like with 5,000 people. I mean, it's hard.
So should I guess my question about it then is, if it's a parade, right? And I understand a parade. Parades move,
right?
Like, should the people have been like just standing back and observing, like?
Well, I guess the floats are still moving even if I'm on the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like people asking you for photos and stuff like that. Was that like outside of the etiquette of like the attendees?
I don't think
like,
so. This is my first year doing that parade.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think people are allowed to do that. And a lot of people, like, I don't hear super well either. So vision's not great, hearing's not great. So because for one, I have breathing loop, Darth Vader's breathing playing. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of times. And I also have his voice playing. So like I'll play that, so people can hear that and they love that. But like people will call me from the side, be like, Darth Vader, I need a picture, and they're like way over there, and I don't know who it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know who called me, so I'm looking around to see who called me, and then it's one of those things. But yeah, people can take photos as far as I know. But yeah. I mean, with that, you're definitely going to fall behind. I mean, like you really have to, like, because the problem is if you do 1 or 2, you can catch up. But then when you do 1 or 2, it turns into 5. You know what I mean? And then it's like, so I love it though, because that's the reason you go, like to interact with people and to see people enjoy it. So I love that, and people really liked it. So it was a fun event.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you made a lot of people's days.
I did, yeah, I hope so. And they made my day too, just because it was a fun event. I love being in costume. I love interacting with people who enjoy it. So they made my day just as much.
And would you say that you were the most popular one there? Flex? No flex?
Probably. Just because of Darth Vader. Darth Vader's super popular. And like I said, I've done many events as Kylo Ren. And Kylo Ren is there was a Kylo Ren there. He was probably the second most popular. Yeah. Because Kylo Ren is really popular too, but Darth Vader is more popular. Because I think more people know who Darth Vader is.
Oh, dude! Before hanging out with you and talking to you about it, like I definitely wouldn't have. You could have said Kylo Ren, and I'd have been like, yeah. Like if you put a lineup of characters, like I don't know if I could have figured out which one it is, but I would definitely know Darth Vader.
Well, I think the biggest telltale sign is every time I've trooped as Kylo Ren, I've been called Darth Vader. Like
Oh,
that just happens a
wow.
lot.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's kind of not so bad because one of the things Kylo Ren is kind of like aspiring to be Darth Vader. So
Okay.
it's kind of like okay, he probably take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
So like, but
He's like sick.
right, he's like awesome because it's his grandfather. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So but basically, yeah, I think Kylo Ren is still my favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Darth
yeah.
Vader's up there. He's probably number 2.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Darth Maul's right there too. I like the villains, dude.
Yeah.
I'm always a villain guy.
That's interesting.
You see, I have Thanos and
Yeah.
like Loki, and I like the villains.
That's very interesting.
I wonder why. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love the. You see, I got Joker and Bane and all the villains.
Do you relate to all these villains?
No, I think
Sympathize
there's,
with their stories?
I think that the villains, a really good villain provides a lot of value to a story, and I like the villains that are complex. They have either they are strong in their convictions and they believe a certain thing because of this reason, or they are conflicted or whatever the case may be.
That's
I like
a good
complex
point. That's a fair
villains.
point. Yeah, yeah.
They make with a movie like like a sci-fi fantasy action movie. You need a good villain, otherwise your movie's gonna suffer.
Yeah, shoot. I mean, I feel like any movie of good versus evil, you need a
Right.
good evil or
Right.
like what?
Yeah. Why do you think Star Wars the originals were so good? Is because Darth Vader. A big reason.
Yeah, and I guess it's good every now and again for like, for example, with the Avengers, for the villain to win, you got to give you
Right.
some extra suspense. Like, oh shit,
Right.
we gonna lose this one?
Right. We're gonna lose. And this thing, Avengers 1, Loki was the villain, and that's a lot of people's favorite
Oh,
Marvel
really?
movie too. Yeah, and Loki is the villain in that one, and that's because Loki is so good.
And that's also one of your favorites.
It is. That's probably my second favorite Marvel movie.
But
probably
Lo-
Avengers: Infinity War and then Avengers.
But Loki, the character, is like
Loki's
one of
my
your
favorite. Yeah, Loki's my favorite Marvel character.
Who would you say? So your favorite Star Wars character, Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Marvel, Loki. If you had to pick between those two, who you rolling with?
Dude, I knew you were gonna ask me that. dude, I'm gonna cop out. It's a tie because like I can't choose because those two are 100% my two favorite characters. The thing is though, you know who's like a little behind them? Joel from The Last of Us.
Oh,
And Ellie's
man.
right there too. But like really Joel but Loki and Kylo are in their own tier. But
who's ahead?
they're a tie, man. I can't choose.
Oh,
I
my-
can't choose. They're a tie.
They're both my children. I love them
Well,
equally.
they're both conflicted. They're similar characters. They're both villains, but they're conflicted, so they have layers. There's a lot to them. They want to prove themselves. That's what I like.
Whose movies are better?
That's a really tough one because The Force Awakens and Avengers Infinity War is probably my favorite movie, so I'm gonna have to say that. But Loki's not really in that one much. So, and Kylo Ren is in The Force Awakens, which is one of my favorite movies, and that's my favorite Star Wars movie. Dude, it's a tie. I'm gonna say it's a tie. I'm gonna double cop out.
Yeah. No.
This is unprecedented for our podcast. A double cop out live on air.
He goes, it's a tie.
It definitely
that's
is a
funny,
tie.
dude.
So, okay, as we segue into our next topic.
Yes.
Do you want me to introduce this one? Or you
Yeah,
wanna-
sure.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
So basically, with this event, what I'll lead into it by saying this. I almost didn't go because we lost an hour of sleep. Is it daylight savings time?
Yeah.
Or is it?
It's always daylight savings, but sometimes you lose an hour, sometimes you get an
Okay.
hour.
So, see, I don't know things. So, like, that's why it's daylight savings time, right? So, we lost an hour of sleep. I woke up this morning. I signed up for this event for the Annapolis St. Patty's Day Parade as Darth Vader, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of us signed up. So, they're counting on me to be Darth Vader, which is an important character for this event,
Yep,
right?
100%.
So, and I always wanted to go. It's 5,000 people. I'm like, let's go. Like, this is going to be exciting. I signed up months ago, right?
Yep.
So, this morning I woke up and I was like, ugh, I'm tired. I was like, I don't know. And I was just kind of moving slowly. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like almost to the point where I was like, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm too tired. But then you know what? I hopped in that car. I did have to poop, but I hopped in that car and I rode there and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But that leads me into my point. Getting there is the hardest part.
Yeah, it certainly is. And similarly, like it's so funny how this worked out because I was texting Will right before I came over.
Yep.
Because like I've been like I feel like I'm mentally exhausted like as of the last few days, and I was like, damn, Will, like, do you want to maybe record this tomorrow, or maybe you just like take a week off and then jump into our next 10 episodes? And I was just feeling like a little drained ahead of time, but it's exactly like he just said. Like sometimes getting there is the hardest part, and then once you do get yourself wherever you may need to be, it's typically, at least in my experience, and I think in yours as well, like more rewarding to have done the thing and gone, and I guess just more so did whatever that event or thing may have been rather than not. Because if nothing else, man, at the end of the day, like it's a good experience. And I think most of the time you come out on the other side feeling good about what you've done or what you've accomplished.
Right. Don't you feel that way about the gym?
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that. The gym, I think, is like a good everyday example for probably a lot of people to relate to. I'm sure there's times when you get off work or it's like a weekend and you could very easily just say like, maybe I don't go to the gym today. And it is sometimes tough to motivate yourself and to get your ass in gear and get yourself to the gym. But once you get to the gym, it's like, okay, cool, I'm here. Now I'm going to work out. I'm going to do my thing. I got myself here. I might as well take advantage of my time while I'm here. And I think when you leave the gym, like, most people would probably agree, like, you feel great leaving the gym and you do feel satisfied, and you feel that sense of accomplishment that you've gotten there and you've actually worked out and you've like bettered yourself because of it. And I think that's like, it translates to most things that you might be like, oof, I don't know if I want to do that.
Right. Because if you give yourself a reason, a way out, you will take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. Because trust me, and I do it because you know what I do, and I still do this because when I get to the gym, the hardest part by far is getting to the gym.
Yep.
If you get to the gym, you're ready to roll.
Yep.
You're ready to roll. You're good at it. And you're ready to roll. Lately, I haven't been doing the ab machine that I normally do because it's been hurting my back. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get home and do ab ripper. I get home, I never do ab ripper.
Damn.
Because like that's it. Because it's supposed to be a post workout thing, ab ripper, right? So I'm supposed to do the workout, lift, whatever, and then do ab ripper. I get home and I'm tired. But if I do it at the gym, I'm there and I'll do it. So maybe what I need to do is just do some of the ab ripper exercises at the gym.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
So, but really, like I said, that's the point. Like if you give yourself a way out, you'll take it. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that.
And I think it's like building a bad habit because you do it once, it's easier to do it the second time. It's easier to do it the third and the fifth and the 10th time. And now you're just like, oh, well, shit, I don't go to the gym anymore. I think that's what happens to a lot of people, like post New Year's resolution. You know what I mean? Like it's like such a meme, but the gyms always fill up the most like the first couple weeks of January. And then by about this time, it's March right now. It's like the first, second week of March. It's like back to normal because I think people go, they're really motivated. Then the next day they're like, well, I worked out really hard yesterday, so I'm not going to go today.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to go on Thursday, and now I'm not going to go at all next weekend.
Right.
Sure. And I think that stuff happens with regardless of what you've got going on. If you start talking yourself out of it, you're going to continue to do that.
You're going to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
And the easy way out is typically not the right way to go because you know, I had so much fun at this event today. Am I a little sore? Yeah, I am. But I had a lot of fun. I got to hang out with some cool dudes that are all Star Wars fans.
Yep.
I met some really cool people at the parade. I made a lot of kids' day. Like I said, they made mine just seeing the reaction on their faces. It was a blast, right? It was a memory that I always have that I really enjoyed, and I never would have had that memory if I had been too lazy to go.
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to chime in about. Like, you now have the experience. Like, you went back and you can remember and say, like, hey, I went to that experience. Like, Will showed me a couple photos that he has from it. Like, you're going to have those photos that you're a part of that you'll be able to look back on.
Yep.
As opposed to if you didn't go, like, there's a chance that you would have just been sitting at home on the couch. And, like, that's not necessarily anything memorable, like, of note. So you're not going to be tired forever. You know what I mean? Or in this instance, like, yeah, I was like, oof, man, like I could really skip podcast today, but if not, like, I probably would not have accomplished anything. And now, like, we'll have this podcast that we can look back on, and hopefully people listening, / watching, you guys will be able to get some sort of enjoyment out of this. And that definitely makes me feel better about it. Like, I did something that I can say, like, okay, cool. Like, I accomplished something today, and that makes me feel a lot better than, like, just being tired. Like, I'm not gonna be tired forever.
Right. Maybe this is the podcast that people find, and then the podcast grows.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Maybe
that's
this is the one.
And we don't want to miss out on that.
No, we don't want to miss out on this one. Maybe this is the one because we talked about poop. And we talked about Darth Vader.
Yep.
So there's some stuff in here that could really, take us to the top, right?
That's true.
No, probably not. But it's worth a shot, right?
Imagine like the poop thing is really what catches on, and we get stuck talking about it every week.
I know. No. We're gonna have to put our foot down on that one.
You want to put our foot down and poop?
I mean, no. I do want to get an answer though about the girls pooping thing because that we need to know.
Yeah, very confused right now.
Yeah,
please chime in.
Yeah, we don't know these things. Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't know these things.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think the hardest part, as always, is just starting something, and then you're not going to regret it. And also, like I said, especially if you're agreeing to something, maybe you're on a lunch date. Not necessarily like a date, but say a friend. Like say you and I wanted to go to get sushi, like we used to do, right? Yeah. And I say, 10 minutes before, half an hour before, and I'm like, Nick, I'm not really feeling it, man. Like maybe you were really looking forward to that.
That's
and
true.
I just like messed up your day.
That's
right?
true.
So like, that's something to really consider. If your word is your bond, right?
Yes.
So like, if you tell someone you're going to do something, you should do it, right? If you tell them, especially if it affects them, if they're invested by it and they're invested in it rather, and they're affected by it, then that's really important to follow through on that.
That's a very good point. And like, as you're saying that, like, yeah, it's essentially like the situation for this evening. Like,
I wasn't gonna like hold it against you though.
no, I know,
yeah.
but it is a good point, man. And it's like we have committed to this. Like, we do this podcast each week.
Yeah.
And it would not have been cool of me to, to try to like bail and tap out, even though like, I guess the way that I can chalk it up is I was feeling, like rather tired. However, time out, guys. Okay.
There we go. That was some serious skills right there. Nick had to put the record button.
The microphone cord is plenty long enough.
But
it's
not
the
the
headphone one where I'm
right.
like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, even though I was tired, like, this is something. And I told Will, like, after I got here, like, I texted him and, we decided, like, yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah. And honestly, like, right after that, I was like, yeah, it's probably better that I'm doing this. Like, and even on the drive over and once I got here, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm really glad that I'm here.
Right.
And yeah, it would have messed up, like, our schedule. It would have messed up what we got going on. And that wouldn't have been cool of me for, like, selfish reasons. To mess that up when, we're on a roll right now, bro. We're 11 episodes deep.
11 subscribers on YouTube.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get number 12 today.
Number 12. So if you want to be lucky number 12, please subscribe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's just one of those things, where there's so much to get into with this topic, but basically it boils down to the fact that I think that you always have to be a person of your word.
Yeah.
Right? If you say you're going to do something, be there. And don't miss out on so many things. Like I said, I signed up to be Darth Vader, right? One thing also to keep in mind with 501st, right? Mm-hmm. Only one character from that garrison could sign up.
Yes.
So maybe there was another Darth Vader that wanted to do this event, but I signed up as Vader. And if I don't show, then he didn't get to do it.
That's
right?
a good point.
Right? He would have missed out because he wanted to be Darth Vader.
Yep.
And I got it before he did.
Yep.
So it's one of these, and also, like I said, they're relying on me to be Darth Vader for these kids, right? For the adults, so the adults love it just as much, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But and I would love it if I was a fan and I was watching those characters. I'd be like, oh yeah, I got to get a picture with him too.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and it's just they're relying on me to be there and to be a part of it, right? So that's something that's really important to me. And I try to be really good about that because I don't like when people do it to me. We talked about in the last episode, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself.
Yep, for sure.
Right? And that's a really important part of my life. Like, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, to say like, hey, I'm bailing 15 minutes or an hour before, right?
Yep.
Or a couple hours before. But like, so I wouldn't want that done to me, so I don't do it to them.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. I think that's like a very admirable way of looking at it.
Right.
And I'm thinking about it too. Like you said, whether it's kids or adults, I think, kids with their imagination and stuff like that, we're probably like, holy shit, maybe, holy crap. That's Darth
They might
Vader.
have said that.
They're so surprised. They're like,
Right.
holy shit, mom,
They
dad
think
are
it's
like,
they
what?
think it's the real Darth Vader.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
even like as an adult, as somebody that can rationalize, okay, that's not actually Darth Vader.
Right.
But I mean, for all accounts, it's movie grade. It's
Right.
really nice costume. Like, that's as close as being next to Darth Vader. And if they want a photo, it's like, for example, if you had like a sports star, like a movie star that you really looked up to, you got to go to that person, or maybe go to like a wax museum to get
Right.
like a photo with, such
Right.
and such person. But with like costumes and cosplay and stuff like that, like with yours, it's grade A stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it might as well have been, who plays Darth Vader?
David Prowse, but James Earl Jones does the voice.
So it might as well have been David Prowse or James Earl Jones. Did I
Yes,
say that
James
right?
Earl Jones.
It might as well have been either of them because you've got the costume on, man, and that
Right.
thing is primo. So
Right.
that's awesome for somebody that is a fan, even if they are an adult, to say like, cool, I got a photo with Darth Vader today.
Right, and that's so cool. And like, for what about the families, that can't afford to go to Disney World to see the real Darth Vader, like to see the Darth
True.
Vader at Disney World,
True.
right? And for one, I gotta say, I think my costume is better. So
Flex
than
on
the
'em.
ones at Disney.
Let them know.
So, and there are plenty of Darth Vaders that are better than me too. So
Okay,
there are a
okay.
lot. So like, there's some really good ones, man. And I think you asked me a really interesting question. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was even on air,
Uh-huh.
but you asked me, do I like the collectibles or the costumes more?
Oh yeah.
That's like choosing between your children.
Yeah.
That's like a really tough question. That's like choosing between Loki and Kylo.
Oh,
That's
my
what that kind
gosh.
of is.
Yeah,
You
we got
can't
another
pick
tie.
one. You can't pick one. It's a tie. But no, like I said, I told you I think the cosplays slightly because of this, what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Going to an event, seeing the reaction on people's faces, the kind of emotional reaction that the kids and even like trust me, the adults get the same reaction from it.
Yeah.
And they really love it. That's why I think the cosplays to me are just slightly above. Because collectibles, really, people enjoy those.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times that's me looking at those.
That's
For me,
true.
and I love them. And I get a lot out of looking at them every day. But like, it's one of those things where the cosplays, give something to other people too. And the collectibles do that too when I do collectibles tours or reviews or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But the cosplays are just a little bit higher level than that. And I think that's why I favor them slightly more. But I don't do many costumes because they're so expensive.
Yeah, dude, I think that's really cool that that's the approach that you have about it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, man. I think I would as we know, like I really enjoy seeing Will's Collectibles and talking about this stuff, but it's not necessarily like what I invest my money in.
Right.
But if I were to do something like that, I hope that I would feel the same way. You know what I mean? To be like, yeah, like not only can I appreciate this and get enjoyment out of having the costume and, playing that character, but also being able to put a smile on somebody else's face. Like, that's really nice. And I think that's a really like positive way of thinking about it.
You know what I need to get you into? Since you're not into movies, since you love the NBA so much.
Yes.
NBA collectibles, like signed memorabilia.
Oh, true.
And stuff.
Dude, I have seen...
Like LeBron stuff.
Yeah, dude, LeBron is the man. And I have a LeBron pop. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, okay, so...
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got
Wait,
it.
Lakers or...
It's a Heat one.
Oh, okay, nice. Still great.
Yeah. I feel like I need to get the other ones now, though. This is the collectible shit.
How many are there?
So I think there's one or two Cavalier ones. There's one Heat one, and I think there's a pack that has a LeBron and a Dwight Howard in it, where he's like on the Heat and Dwight Howard's like on the Magic still, maybe.
Nice.
I can't remember. And then there's like 3 Lakers ones.
Oh, okay.
But you know what I mean? I would like to at least get one from each team. So get a Cavs one and get a Lakers one.
Yeah.
But I was checking, dude, like the Cavs ones, I guess because they're the oldest ones, they're like definitely the most expensive.
Yeah, gotcha. Those are probably pretty rare at this point.
Yeah.
And they are making an Ellie from Last of Us 2 Funko Pop.
Oh, for real? Dude, you're stoked.
I'm getting it.
You're stoked.
I don't even get Funko Pops much. I love the Thanos. You got me, though. Thanos in the garden. There's a Pennywise I kind of want to get to.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a Pennywise with his tongue hanging out.
Oh, I didn't know Pennywise did that.
Yeah, he does it in one scene in the second one. He has his tongue and he like licks the glass. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
I'll show you the scene.
Okay.
But you're probably gonna be freaked out from it.
Yeah.
But basically, that and then they're making an Ellie from Last of Us Part 2. So I was like, I'm in.
Dude, that's part of the reason I love Funko Pops is because they literally make everything.
They do make everything.
Like if it's a game, if it's a show, it could be a sitcom or a cartoon. It could be a freaking movie stars. I've seen there's one at Walmart right now, or at least it had been the last couple of weeks, of Mariah Carey. Like,
oh,
what?
nice.
You know what I mean? Like they do anything. So like I always get stoked when I see something that I really like, and then Funko Pop's like, guess what's coming out?
Yeah.
Like hell yeah, can't wait.
Know.
Take my money.
Those Funko Pops are just they're a lot of fun for
Yeah.
sure, and they make you happy. But you know what? Let's transition from happy to something a little more serious.
Oh boy,
yeah,
okay.
I think we're ready to talk
Let's
about
do
this.
it. Oh yeah,
yeah, but serious, but we're gonna make it interesting and lighthearted and as we can, right?
Yep.
So like you talked about a little bit. I don't how much you want to share on that. We'll just each share as much as we're comfortable with, right?
Sure.
As much as we want to share with the viewers that you guys can chime in with your own experiences and so forth.
Yeah.
So I'll share about me. So you talked about maybe feeling overwhelmed and things like that, right? I feel like that a lot, and I think something that's always really helped me a lot is staying busy. My dad always tried to instill this in me because when I was younger, when I was in like high school and stuff, I didn't feel like I had necessarily a direction. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I was doing the things that I was supposed to be doing. Like I was playing sports, I was hanging out with friends, but I didn't really have any hobbies that I was like really passionate about. You know what I mean? That I was spending my time, that I was getting, focused on in a good way. So like what I'm leading into is I think there are healthy obsessions, and those have really helped me along the way in my life. Yeah. Because I've always been I've lived by the rule that the idle mind is the devil's playground, right? That's a saying you hear a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And it's rang true for me because if I'm not doing something or I'm not focused on something or being productive in some way, then I feel like I'll get depressed, right? I'll get upset, I'll get to the point where like I got to do something. So like to get out of that funk, it's once again ties into the idea. You have to start. You have to start. You have to do, right? You have to, for me, I find healthy obsessions in my opinion.
Sure.
Music. That's what music, dude, in a way, it like almost saved my life because like it was one of those things where I got so obsessed about it. That's why I practiced so much. Yeah. Because I was very obsessed about it and I felt it was a healthy obsession, right? And I could focus on that and keep my mind occupied on healthy, important, good things, right? Yeah. I think we can all get in our own heads a little bit too much at times. So I'll let you speak on that. But yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah, I'd say when I think about things like that, and I might have talked about this before, but I think it's like a sense of accomplishment. Like if I sit around and I do nothing all day, I definitely feel worse. I definitely feel like I'm in like a more poor mental state than when I've done something and I can say like, cool, I did that today. But growing up, this is the thing that I think maybe we've talked about, maybe not. Playing, like we both played baseball and that's a team sport. And I know like once I got done playing baseball, I was like, what the hell, man? Like when you first start playing it, it's like, I'm gonna make it to the major leagues.
Right,
like,
right.
And that would be great if that panned out, but it pans out for far less people than it actually, works out for.
Right.
And then it's like, damn, I can't really do this by myself anymore. So that's why like I kind of got into like editing videos and even like playing video games and doing Twitch and stuff like that. But it's something that I can do by myself because I think it helps keep you occupied. Like you said, like you don't want to be sitting around like quote unquote bored. Like I think boredom can really put you in like a bad mental state because you're like, man, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
Whereas if you learn things that you can do as an individual and work on them, it can definitely like put you in a good mood. But I will say my counter argument to that and what's kind of happened to me like over these last few days is like sometimes I just be like going too hard at shit.
Yeah,
and
you gotta pump the brakes at that.
Yeah, I gotta still have like time to decompress, and I think it's tough. Like you gotta balance it where some things that do start as just like a hobby, and that is the thing that you do to decompress. Whether it's playing video games or watching movies, or maybe going around and shooting the basketball, and then you start like taking these things more seriously. Well, it's harder to decompress on those things that you're taking seriously and want to pursue as like a passion. Like, once again, as an example, like sometimes when I play video games, I'm like, damn, like I really trying to get content because I'm out here streaming, like I'm trying to make a YouTube video, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like if Will's watching a movie, like you might be like hyper focused on like remembering everything so that you can break it down and do a really good movie review. So then it's like, okay, all these things that I used to do to help me decompress, like I'm not decompressing off these things anymore.
Right.
Now I need to have like some alone idle time to make sure that you don't, like go too hard constantly and like for me, I just got like overwhelmed. I was like, oof, I was feeling really frustrated.
Well, I think you do need to take a break sometimes. If you're getting to the point where the reason you did something was that it's fun.
Yeah.
If it's no longer fun, then that's a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, in my opinion, that's always been the case. So like, if I felt like I was going too hard at music where I was getting too stressed about it, it's not fun anymore. If you're a professional, that's a different conversation.
Sure.
Because if you're a professional, that's your job and it might not always be fun because you got to do it to some extent.
Yeah.
But if it's a hobby of yours and you're doing it for fun, like say the Twitch thing and the YouTube thing for me, right? Twitch for you, YouTube for me.
Sure.
Like if it's getting to the point where it stresses you out, then I think you might need a break sometimes. You know what I mean? I do that too. Like with the movie reviews, if I felt like I was doing the same thing, rinse and repeat, and I was like not having fun with it anymore, then I take a break and I do some other type of videos, do some collectible reviews, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
So,
it's just like, I don't think I can say it any better than you did, to be honest. Like it's just knowing. I guess it's kind of having like that own like a mental and emotional awareness,
right?
Where you're saying like, hey, this is kind of like wearing me down a little bit. Like, let me just take a break. Let me step away. So then, honestly, when you come back to it, you can probably enjoy it as much as you did, or maybe even before.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes if it be feeling too much like work.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
working right
If it's
now.
feeling too much like work, it's gonna stress you out eventually.
Yeah,
because you're gonna
definitely.
feel like you're stuck in the mud, basically.
Yeah,
and it's one of these things. So it's a tricky balance because you have to, focus on healthy obsessions. That's what I would call them, healthy obsessions, and then also balance that with your own, comfort level with that, and also with your own happiness, right?
Yeah.
So like you also want to spend, and I even tell this to college students that I advise, like some students, and I was one of these students. And when I was in college, actually, the reason I did so well is because of what I just told everyone. Like, I got super hyper obsessed about it, right? I did everything I could. I studied. I never went to parties, really. I'd never drank, anything like that. So I focused all my time, for the most part, on studying, right? And that's why I got really good grades, because I got a healthy obsession. I got focused on it. I was locked in, and it gave me a good outlet. So one thing I'm going to recommend with these kind of things is find something that's going to work your mind a little bit, right?
Oh, definitely.
So like music works your mind. Trust me,
Sure.
it really does. You got to put a lot of active thought into that. Photography was another thing I got into. That's another thing that works your mind. Editing, like you said, right? School, things like that may quote unquote be productive, but even if it's something you enjoy, like collecting for me, that works my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm hunting different things. I'm comparing prices.
Yes.
I'm looking at the rising value of certain figures and IPs, things like that, right? I'm looking at those kind of things and I'm thinking about things that get me happy, those things that I'm going to enjoy. So it's balancing happiness and, making time for, the other things, like maybe going out with your friends or maybe going to doing things you like. You don't always have to be productive 24/7. Is my point, right?
Yeah. I think it goes down or comes back to the saying, like all things in moderation.
Right.
Like too much of a good thing can become a bad thing.
It can.
So even if you're grinding, and to the point that you're saying with, find something to be productive with, like I think it's good to try to have or strive to have like an expertise in an area. You know what I mean? Like if it is music or editing or whatever, not to say that you're going to end up being an expert at it, but to work towards something, it does work your mind out. Like, hey, if I want to get better at this, if I want to try to improve my quote unquote expertise in some area, it is going to exercise your brain, and your brain's a muscle too, and it needs to be worked out as well.
Right. It does. And I think the hardest thing probably, other than starting, is finding that thing for you.
Yeah.
Finding that thing that makes you excited, that you're passionate about, that you like, right? That thing that makes you feel productive, like you're getting your mind working and rolling, where you feel like it's an emotional release for you.
Yeah.
Music was like that for me, and it still is. So
That's good.
but there's also other things as well. I try to keep myself well-rounded, right? I like photography a lot. I like, the collecting stuff, the costume stuff. It gives me something to focus on that's healthy. I'm same with school, right? I still am like that with school. So,
Yeah.
and it's a balance, right? But I've never had that active of a social life because of that, probably.
Sure.
Like, I've always been focused on school and other things. So, like, it's just a matter of where you value things, right? Like, I haven't had too many girlfriends since high school because I've been way more focused on, say, my schoolwork, right?
Yeah.
My schoolwork and my hobbies, right? So I've been way more focused on doing that than I have been putting value in other relationships. But I have a small social circle of friends, like we've talked about, that I really value and trust, Nick included, that I value and trust, that that I feel like I can rely on. Rather have that than a lot of friends that might not come through for you when you need it.
Yeah, and dude, I think that's investing your time wisely is important as well, because I don't like to do stuff if I know I'm going to be half-assing it. Like,
Right.
I would rather just not. So yeah, spending the time that you have to invest in doing something, I guess, like wholeheartedly, or like being able to complete what you're starting, I think is like a healthier way of going about stuff than just diving into so many things that you can only dabble in. It's like, once again, for me, I don't want to get like annoying saying it, but it is the point that I would like harp on, is like, I want that sense of achievement, like that sense of accomplishment. So I want to be able to dive into things to make sure that I complete them fully.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's a great way to look at things. And I think is there anything else we need to add on this topic?
No. What kind of time are we looking at right now?
We're at about 45 minutes right now. So we're like a little bit shorter than we usually run, but it's not a bad time.
No. And I'd say the last thing maybe we can jump into, kind of a meme, but
a meme.
Will told me he was feeling a little under the weather. When I got here, and he has been receiving a lot of collectibles that have been originating from China.
Hong Kong.
So
China, yeah.
What's up, bro?
I told Nick, I was like, before we started, I was like, I got a little bit of a runny nose. Like, and I don't know. I don't necessarily feel sick or anything. I've just gotten a little bit. It could have just been because I've been in a Vader costume all day.
That's cool.
So I've just been, sweating it out and all so forth. But I told Nick, I was like, I don't think I have coronavirus. Yeah, because that would be something.
Know, man.
No, I definitely don't. But I told him I like to joke with people, because I'm like, if anyone's getting coronavirus, it's me, because everything I ordered has come from Hong Kong.
It's so funny.
Like China and anywhere like that. So like a lot of the great collectible companies are in China. They're centered in China, like Hot Toys, and Prime One I think is Japan. But I haven't got anything from you. They're the Pennywise figure.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't gotten that from them yet. But still, coronavirus is still affecting, from my understanding, a lot of Asian countries.
Dude, I think it's the worst there. I don't like keep up on this stuff, like,
I don't follow the
to
news.
really know. But when I be playing with I got this one guy that I play with that's like super into it. Like, it's
on
actually
Fortnite.
Yeah, it's not actually technically coronavirus. It went from that to Wuhan virus to now it's like C9 something or another.
Oh, okay.
They keep changing the name of it.
Did you see how Corona beer is like taking a big hit in their stock?
So funny. I feel awful. I feel awful for the people
so
at
bad.
Corona.
Yeah.
But I did see, like, I don't know if it was an actual advertisement or just like a meme where they're like, no, it's not bad. Corona can actually help you with the coronavirus, because like the alcohol will like burn through the germs or some shit like that.
That's
but yeah, you don't want no Corona of any sorts.
It's funny though that's what's happening, but like, yeah, coronavirus is definitely serious business. I mean, I've seen a lot of things where places have been, if it gets too out of hand, will shut down.
Dude, no doubt.
Yeah, it's become definitely like a nation or global wide thing.
It's so funny too, man. I keep seeing things pop up that seem like you should be doing this stuff anyway, but it's like, wash your hands,
sanitize,
cover your mouth when you sneeze or cough. Like, who's not doing that? Who's out in the streets right now that's not doing that?
Did you see the video of the lady who was like, don't touch your mouth or nose or face or whatever? And then she like touches her tongue the second after she says that.
Oh my God.
She was like, a couple tips to stop, if you don't want to pass along coronavirus. And then she's like reading these pages of a script. And she's like, don't touch your mouth, your face or your nose or whatever. And then she's like,
licks her
finger. And then licks her finger. And people were like, oh my God. It became like this whole meme.
Dude, that's so funny.
It was so funny. Yeah. But that's the kind of stuff that just becomes meme worthy.
Dude, yeah. And then like in the NBA right now, like there's a couple players that have said like, hey, so sorry fans, but right now, like I'm not signing autographs, like I'm not giving high fives.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and they asked LeBron about it the other night. They're like, if the NBA stops allowing fans into the games, because they don't want to have like an outbreak or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, how would you feel about that? And LeBron was like, well, I'm not playing if there's no fans coming here.
Right.
Which I think is admirable. But at the
Yeah.
same time, man, if you're a high profile athlete, or if you're just a person in general, you probably don't want it. But especially somebody that like your job is to keep going out there each night and entertain people.
Yeah.
And because there's so many people there, just people reaching out wanting to touch you and stuff like that, you got
gotta be careful.
potentially deadly disease from it. Like,
Right.
oh, that's a risk reward. You kind of got a balance right there.
Right. Yeah. And I'm joking. I'm not really sick. I just had a runny nose, but that's it. Yeah. I'm not really sick.
But
so.
if we don't show up for next week's episode,
then you know, then you know that I ordered too much stuff from Hong Kong. So yeah, that's what's going on. But man, I can't avoid it because the collectibles from there are just so grade A. Like
That's
as you
true.
described it, Hot Toys and a lot of the manufacturers are making some great collectibles from Hong Kong.
just as soon as you open the box, just have
And
a
Asia.
bottle of Lysol. Just
Yeah, true. As long as I don't
As
spray
soon
the
as you-
figure, because if I spray the figure, I'm just worried about what will happen to
really,
me.
you think it would mess it up?
Dude, I don't want to mess with anything like that on a $250, $300 figure.
That's true. Hey,
I'm not testing it at all.
I don't think that yours need to be cleaned in general because you keep
Some
them
people
in
do.
such good
With
place.
leather, they do.
Yeah, but like in those, what do people do? Just get like the air can things.
Some
like
people do actually,
and
yeah.
just kind of spray.
Some
them
people
off?
get the air can. That's a good point. Yeah, and the leather conditioner, people do that a lot too, because some of the
Interesting.
figures are pleather,
Huh.
so like they will degrade over time. So people get this leather conditioner and they wipe them down. I haven't done that. I haven't had any problems because the more humid of environment you're in, the worse the figure is going to be
Yeah.
because it's just going to deteriorate. And Maryland is very humid, but my collection room I think is pretty well insulated and pretty well cooled off with the AC and everything. So I haven't had any problems yet of peeling. So that'll happen eventually at some point to some of them, but hasn't happened yet. A lot of people do it, so a lot of people wipe the figures down. I haven't done that. I guess it's going to take one figure peeling for me to start doing
You're like,
it.
oh shit.
Yeah, I know. And then I'll be like, all right, got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows when that'll happen? But it may.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but either way, I mean, collecting is still fun regardless. As Vision said in Avengers: Age of Ultron, he said a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
It is or isn't?
It isn't.
It isn't beautiful because
Yeah.
it lasts. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because there goes my hat. So like because what he's basically saying is that nothing lasts forever, and if it does, it may not be as beautiful because you don't value it or cherish it as much. A thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. Yeah, and he's a cyborg. He knows stuff. Yeah.
Taking advice from cyborgs.
Yes, he's amazing. But shout out to Vision.
Hey, hi Vision.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
He's not real, but
Oh,
so he's a character in the Marvel movie. So he's the I think I've showed you him. He's like the pink guy with the yellow stone in his head.
maybe.
Yeah. He's legit.
I would need to see it.
He's really powerful.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for
Yeah,
him.
but he's he's dead now, so
Well, not so good for him.
I didn't want to spoil it for you, but yeah. So if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame or Infinity War, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
But-
damn it. They got to
So-
the end of the episode and they're like, God damn it, Will.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
just about to watch.
He is coming back though, so he is coming back in a new show. So
Good spoiler.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's the show hadn't come out yet. I just know he's like kind of alive in it, kind of not. We'll see.
Very confused.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I remember when I was explaining it to you the other day about Avengers Endgame, about what the plot is, and you were like, "How does anyone follow this?"
Yeah, it is very confusing.
I was like, "Well,
to
they go
hear.
back in time, they do this, yeah." And he was like, "How does anyone follow?" I'm like, "Trust me, dude. If you've seen all the movies, you'll be able to follow
Yeah.
it."
Eventually, I can't put a timestamp on when this is going to happen, but eventually,
Yeah.
someday, I'll sit down and I'll watch these, and then I'll call
That-
Will and be like, "Holy shit, it all makes sense now."
Yeah, right. We gotta sit down and watch these, and then we can have a podcast talking about. We'll have a segment at each in each podcast talking about some of the Marvel movies.
Oh, that could be fun.
That'd be really cool. Be
Yeah.
like Nick watched Iron Man for the first time.
Yeah. You guys will be able to listen to Will's expertise and then just me kind of like babbling about like what I thought was cool.
Like this was cool. I like Iron Man.
Yeah. Iron Man's got a really sick suit.
Yeah, so he does, and trust me, there's like a million of them. So yeah, but anyway, okay. Anything else in this episode we want to add?
Nah, I think we've probably covered a bunch of things.
I think we have covered a lot of important things in this episode. But let us know in the comments on YouTube, Spotify. There are no comments. Apple Podcasts. If you have Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review.
Yeah,
That's something that's really
that'd be cool.
Leave us some reviews and let us
That'd
know
be
what
really
you think about
nice.
the episode. And then also, let other people know whether you like us or not.
Yeah.
Please like us.
Please like.
Please like, subscribe, smash that like button.
Oh yeah.
That's what a lot of the YouTubers say.
smash that like button. If you click this like button in the next 5 seconds, you will have good luck for the next 5 years. That's what I'd be seeing.
And then they always say, "Can we get 10,000 likes on
Can
this
we
video?"
get 10,000 likes on this podcast, guys?
Yes.
Shit. And you know what would be really cool too? If you're listening on Spotify, share us on your IG story. That would be really nice.
Remember when I showed you how to do that?
Yep, and I'm still not really sure how to do it. I usually
You know how to do
so
it.
So Will always posts after we put this. If you follow Willer or myself, you would know. And
Yeah.
I just repost Will posts
you do.
each time.
Because you're not sure on the process.
I haven't dabbled into it more. Well, my app wasn't really working at first, and then you showed me,
okay.
and then it did start working, and I just haven't done it since. So
Well,
that's lazy
SoundCloud
on
was
me.
harder to do, but Spotify's not that bad.
Oh, maybe it was SoundCloud.
SoundCloud was hard. Remember, I had to show you.
Oh, maybe Spotify.
But Spotify's pretty easy.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Either way, thank you guys for watching, and I think that's a wrap for episode 11.
Yes, it is. Okay, bye.
Bye.